Yes, Stacy. Woo!
Thank you. Y'all are very sweet. Um, I'm going to heartily encourage you to leave your microphones open because I like to hear real life as it's going on. So if you don't think it'll be too disruptive and you like to swing that way, knock yourselves out. I'm going to
All
be
right.
doing pieces from Lovely and Suffering, some pieces from Follow Me on This, and then some older pieces that haven't been assigned to my death files quite yet. Now, I tend to go from poem to poem without bothering about announcing titles. So, what can I say? You know, y'all need to keep up. I can't walk away from this. Can't treat it as an intellectual exercise. Can't pick it up like a book before bedtime. Cannot, will not scrub, sing, screw it into not being a fact. There is no poetry to deny or erase the fact I am a Black woman. I breathe stories that have yet to be sung. I have and will continue to rock every heart, every cradle on this planet. You can bend, shape, heartbreak me, or try into irrelevance. What you will never do, even in death, is break me. You did not provide me crown or wings. You do not have the power to take them away. From the time I was a little girl, I heard two things: be more, be better. Whether it was dress, behavior, speech, grades, whatever it was. As a girl, I was expected to be more, be better. See, you were told boys could slough off. It was okay because boys would be boys, but girls had to be women. You weren't even given that choice of an in between. We had to know how to take care, be strong, take care, be present, take care, pull the race forward, take care, be more, be better all the time. I would have enjoyed hearing at least once: be more about yourself, be better about doing things for you. I would have enjoyed hearing at least once: be more appreciated, be better about who you let into your heart and your life and your bed. I would have appreciated hearing just once: you don't have to be more of anything or better at everything. You are a Black woman. Make them, let them come to you anytime soon. And I am sorry too. I am sorry for my little sisters. Be more, be better, because it's never going to be for us or to us. We are world over, centuries older, the hand that rocks the cradle. We are somewhere in the background of every man who has ever taken power. We are the strong ones, the unassailable ones, the ones who keep on going, keep on kicking, keep on ticking, keep on fighting. We have to do more. We have to be better because the world collapses without us. We have to do more. We have to be better because we know in our blood and bone that civilization does not exist without us. We have to do more and be better just to stay one step behind. And all that do more, be better guarantees nothing. We are still paid 69 cents on the dollar. We are still ignored as if we do not exist in policy and opinion. When we are assertive, then we are bossy and aggressive. When we are demanding of our rights, we are unfeminine troublemakers. When we, God forbid, express an opinion that does not fall into lockstep with whatever the current thought and policy is, never mind that said policy affects our health, our rights, our bodies, we are called traitor, ingrate, bitch, and weak. We are none of those things. We are simply forever trying to be more, be better, be more, be better, be more, be better, be more, be better, be more, be better. This was a conference some years back. He and I hit it off right away, laughed, rolled eyes, sent notes during the dull and boring parts. Every break, every lunchtime, he was right there. Smiles and praise for the points I made, the conversations I held, my way, my words, my wit. Now, I'm not blind or egomaniacal. I know when I'm lighting and being delighted in. I know when I'm lit, not that way, and delighting. So after the last meeting, I asked about a possible relationship. After running the checklist, of course, no ring, no possessive exes, job, a good vocabulary, dress nice, and his mama lived 8 states away. For the first time that week, he stopped looking me in the eye, hemmed and hawed, and then said, "You know, you're obviously intelligent, interesting, admirable. I'm flattered, truly, but we can't date because you're not a size 8. He went on to repeat, "I'm flattered, really, but I couldn't let my boys see me with you. It's well known I like my consorts thinner, but I like you. I really do." The moral of this story? This is why Stacey Abrams isn't vice president. Nobody is talking about this but the sisters, and this sister is going to break it down so that even the folks in the back can understand. Stacey Abrams gave us the numbers to turn Georgia blue. 800,000 votes, 800,000 possibilities, 800,000 freedoms, 800,000 voices of people that have been gerrymandered, ignored, Jim Crowed into submission, never really considered useful or human. She gave us those numbers, but the only number she got back was 100. Not as kudos for the level of excellence achieved, not measurement of the gallons of blood, sweat, tears spilled, poured into the campaign, not a count of the number of hours spent weekly making sure Georgia did what we all needed, pleaded, begged for it to do. No, it was the number of pounds they told her she had to lose if she wanted to be seriously considered for a second chair. Don't get me wrong. This is not a diatribe against thin women, light-skinned women, women with what my grandma used to call good hair. In the words of my street cousins, girl, I ain't mad at you. This is about a woman of accomplishment, of moments, of power, who, regardless of all that cred, is defined by her body shape. And yes, social politics say it's wrong, and 10 out of 10 folks ask will deny and take offense and say, of course it doesn't matter. But that 100 has a lot to do with why Kamala Harris is in the White House instead of the woman who just literally helped save the free world. It's not as if we haven't been told, don't know better. Let me run it for you again. We know the truth. Society has got to stop equating weight with morality. Stop equating weight with beauty. Stop equating weight with how effective or intelligent one is. Just stop. And by the way, this social phenomenon is restricted almost exclusively to women and zeroes in on women of color. Too dark, they whisper behind closed doors. She's good for the field and the kitchens, but don't put her in the parlor lest she scare the white folks away. And yes, that is exactly what that means. Cis can't pass the blue vein test. Blacker the berries, sweeter the juice, be damned. On the national stage, it's still, if you dark black, get back to the kitchen, to the field, to the places where you might be heard but can't be seen. They say, she's got that mammy look. Oh, Lord. No, not the mammy look. Because in between that and her hair, yes, her curly, natural, probably hard to deal with sometime hair, she never had a chance. And last but not least, the gap in her teeth. Now, in East Africa, that's considered a sign of luck, but here it's mostly seen as an embarrassment or a sign of poor hygiene or neglectful parents or an impoverished childhood or just poverty in general, which almost certainly signals a shaky moral compass. And you might be laughing, but there are studies showing that there are people who equate poverty with less than sterling morality. The elephant in this tea room is the country's ongoing love affair with telling people, especially women people, how they need to look if they want to get anywhere, if they want to be seen, if they want to be valued or of value. That's supposed to have gone away by now. It hasn't. It didn't. It won't. This woman didn't just deliver an entire state to Biden on a silver platter, ribbons pressed and curled. She sent a message to that deposed idiot that said, boy, you need to stay out of our house. Don't you ever come back down to Georgia because the sisters are waiting on you. For the uninformed, it is never a good thing to have the sisters waiting on you. But she is too fat, too black, too direct, destined to discomfort the white folks. So America will do what America does. Use her, field hand. Take what she makes, house Negro. Let her clean your messes, raise up your neglected children, mammy. Then lay up in the bed with her if you're desperate or it's convenient. But when it comes time to pay her back for her labor, brilliance, and dedication, when it comes time to pay your debt and give her the world she has earned, there's a lot of throat clearing. And because why, and not looking anywhere but down to the ground or up to the sky, so worn and tired. Let's give her roses now stickers and the dangling promise of a governorship about which I have my doubts. Yes, she is fascinating. And yes, you're flattered. Forget flattered. You should be on your knees in gratitude. This woman kept us out of certain hell. The praise will be more the praise you give a good servant, not an equal partner. The praise you give an asset, not a necessity. You like her. You like her a lot. But what would your boys say? Let's be real. America and Stacey Abrams might dance, might flirt, might hook up for a minute, but it will never be anything more serious. Forget a marriage. They can't even date. She's much too black. And she's not a size 8. So one quick little light one. This poem, ladies, is for us. I wrote it specifically for us. Feel free to, wave hands, shout hallelujah, do a little holy dance in the aisles, whatever it is you feel like you need to do. Gentlemen, pay attention. You might learn something. Because here's the deal. There are other things we crave besides y'all. And this is about one of those things. This is called chocolate blues. When I say I want a chocolate fix, I ain't talking about that boy. Said I'm crazy for a chocolate fix. I ain't talking about some boy. I'm talking Hershey's Kisses or a full-sized almond joy. Now, I'm a tender woman. Love my baby through and through. I'm a tender-hearted woman. Love that man all through and through, but if that man starts acting up, then a Nestle's Crunch will do. You see, ladies, a Dove bar won't kiss you quick, then steal your car. No Milky Way or Snickers ever left for loose women and liquor. And let's face it, be basic. Premium Ghirardelli will never put a baby in your belly. Girlfriend, I ain't lying. Those Three Musketeers won't leave you crying. And buying Tootsie Rolls by the pound may leave you broke, but they don't run around. Now, I know my man's attractive. You may make your eyes and flirt. Said, I know my man's attractive. You may make your eyes and flirt, but reach out for my O. Henry bar and somebody will get hurt. When I say I need a chocolate fix, I ain't talking about that boy. Said I'm crazy for a chocolate fix. I ain't talking about some boy. I'm talking Hershey's Kisses or a full-size almond joy. The next piece is part of a collection that, if I am either very good or very lucky, will be finished by this time next summer, called Because the Sun Would Not Move. And it is part two of, I don't know how many parts this poem is going to end up having, but right now it's only got two. So this is part two of Why I'm Not Moving to Texas. Well, I'm not moving to Texas anymore. I know it's all I've talked about for months. Don't get me wrong. I was seriously thrilled when my friend gifted me an RV. Had to move, didn't want to fly because, COVID, and people being generally nasty and me being non-trusting and suspicious of other folks' personal hygiene anyway. I was thrilled. I called my nephews who live in Odessa. Your auntie is coming down. Why don't y'all come get me? We can make up for some lost time, lost years. It was the paperwork holding us up. The tags and plates came. It all started to be real. And then it was just waiting for the title. I did the research. Everybody said, well, yeah, you can drive without it as long as it's recorded somewhere. And I had the receipt. I knew that electronically it was on file, it existed, but I needed it in my hand. I had to have that small square piece of paper in my hand because I had two young Black men coming to drive me into Texas, and I did not feel sure or safe without that little small piece of paper in my hand. There was some holdup, some glitch. It kept getting delayed. And I was starting to get eaten up with this dread, this fear taking over all of my chest when I said, oh yes, my nephews are going to drive me there. My two young Black nephews were going to drive me there. I sounded brave. But I would put down the phone or get off the chat and my hands would shake. I could feel the quiver in my voice. I kept having to wipe tears off my face and clothes because my two young Black nephews were coming to drive me into Texas in an RV with shiny new plates and tags recently gifted me. Legalities and civil rights never seem to make a difference down there, unless it's on the side of the police or old vindictive white men, or laws that should have been off the books decades ago, should never have existed decades ago. And I had two young Black men driving a newly titled RV, and their aunt who was old enough to remember girls being blown up in Sunday school, and why strange fruit is still a necessary bitter reminder, sung in mother's tears and defiant desperation, and folks who have died while engaged in the unholy commission of being while Black. The delay was longer than expected. That's when I started having nightmares. My boys, yes, they are grown, but they will always be my boys. Breezing through a dusk blue Texas night, stars showering down the way they do in the Panhandle sometimes, laughing, listening to their granddad's favorite Motown and Silk Sonic. Then the cop blows out of nowhere, steps off his bike, puts his hand on his holster because these are two young Black men in a newly gifted RV, and it's a long, lonely highway, and he is bored, or maybe they passed the stop sign a little too soon, or maybe he hasn't made his quota for the night, or maybe just because they are two young Black men laughing and not caring where they are except to come and get me. He wants the paperwork, license, registration. He sees the name on the papers isn't theirs, tells them to step out. They're smart. They've been trained the way we have to train our children these days with the police. They step, they are quiet, they do not talk back, give attitude. But I know my boys. And their eyes are angry and their mouths and throats are tight and they are swallowing humiliation and remembering the story I told them about their granddad being pulled over with me in the car. And that title is shaking in their hands along with the license and registration, and the cop takes their angry eyes and tight mouths as a threat. At least that is what he will say in court, that he feared for his life, and they will face down on that lonely highway, maybe still alive, maybe not. I should have been happy, but I got sick when it came. I felt as if I would be handing them a death warrant. And I could not let a piece of paper kill my boys. Could not let some small square piece of paper be the thing that let some cop murder my two young Black men under Texas sky. I've done a lot of things to my guys. I would not be the messenger of the thing that might get them killed. And I know you're saying that's ridiculous, or that they could be stopped anywhere, but right now, Texas is a place where murdered children's cries are still echoing in school corridors, where the destiny of a woman's freedom to her body is not a recognized fact, where there are still sundown towns and a need for the new Green Book, and two young Black men singing Motown and Silk Sonic under a star-rushed sky is an invitation to death. I couldn't do it. I can't do it. Don't get me wrong. I am so grateful for the gift. The RV can be rented or lived in if times get tougher. I still haven't touched the title or the envelope it came in. It hurts to touch it. Feels a little too heavy in my hand. I will fly to see my boys. And the only thing in my hands will be their favorite cookies and heartfelt invitation to come and see me anytime. The nightmares have stopped. My boys are still in Odessa. And well, I'm not moving to Texas anymore.
Damn. That's part 2 of that poem?
Mm-hmm. A butterfly trembled along the edge of my finger. I will get in trouble for this poem, because so many people are so invested in me bearing the standard of my culture and gender, including me. Convinced that my life is not meant to be separate, that my strength, my resolutions are half of what holds the world together. The way and why of how I love is the other half. A Cassandra birthed by perseverance, attitude, and the lyricism of a million different promises. I do not have the luxury of saying, no, thank you. And if the battle sounds ceaseless and unending, that's because it is. But sometimes I have to breathe just for me, sing just for me, and ignore the fire news from all my sister girls' battlefields. Be beautiful, be intelligent just for me. And today a butterfly landed and trembled along the edge of my finger, and the world did not fall down, and the world did not fall down, and the world did not fall down. I know. I know I should be fighting, praying, working. I understand what I owe my life as a Black woman. I understand the call in my blood toward gospel-stained windows and pews washed in sunlight and salvation. I know I owe my career, my life to the women who knelt in those pews, or ones like them, after a day of being on their knees, feeding their children, patting their backs, thighs, and shoulders so that that sack of groceries did not cut and chafe, so that that child had one soft place to lay down her head, so that they could relieve the ache of holding up the sky and half the world every now and again. Lord, I know there is a debt to be honored. I know. But today, a butterfly trembled along the edge of my finger, and I took a breath, and the world did not fall down, and the world did not fall down, and the world did not fall down. I should be on my knees, praying till angels' wings are broken from the exhaustion of carrying my messages. I should be marching, marching, marching in a tide of righteousness against people who will not acknowledge the rights of others or think they own other folks' decisions. I should be on stages shouting my truth, singing my hopes, telling stories for the brains and hearts worldwide who are empty, aching, tired, hungry for a chance to speak. And I do, I will, I shall, like every other woman in this world. We do, we will, we shall, but some days, not many, some days a butterfly, shivering color and light and scented of small miracles, falls gently out of the sky and explores an entire world in the palm of your hand. And in between one stroke and the next, you can hear your song for just a minute, your heart beating for just a minute, your soul warming just enough to take you through the day for just 1 minute. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe, sister. Breathe, warrior. Breathe, mother, daughter, love, accept the blessing. Just stop. Let a butterfly tremble along the edge of your finger. The children will be fed. Work get done. Your loves loved. It will be done because it has always been done. You know this. Accept this. Stop for just that one moment. Stop for just that one moment. Stop. Breathe for just that one moment. And the world will not fall down, and the world will not fall down, and the world will not fall down. So y'all have been so sweet. First of all, give yourselves a mad round of applause. I love an audience that knows what it's hearing in gameplay. So I've got 2 more poems for y'all. And this one is, all I will say about it is that it is intensely personal to me, as are most of all of my poems, but this one lays on my heart a lot, especially now with all the fuss about critical race theory being taught in schools. I am trying to teach Hannah the history of music in this country, which means we have to start with slavery, with cries to God for mercy and a better place, with signal songs and the Underground Railroad. Hannah wanted to know if slaves ran away because they did something wrong. Were they bad people? Then why were they running? Hannah is in the 4th grade. Her school ignores Black History Month. Apparently, they do not find it relevant to a Christian education. I got sick to my stomach, angry, upset, but tried to answer, still needed to answer. I did what I could, but her parents should have done more. I did what her school should be required to do. I am so tired of people raising their children to not see color. In other words, not raising them to celebrate individuality, not to cherish and protect difference. I am tired of people lying to their children that we are all the same. It's not true. It's not fair. It's not what I've been sick to my stomach, heartbroken over since this time last year. I am going to use the word complicit here. And that will make some of you angry and some of you uncomfortable. But you are complicit in destroying any hope of Black America ever becoming part of America when you feed that crap to your children. You are negating every struggle, every tear, every ounce of blood spilled in trying to make a way to acceptance for any one person of color, any one Black person, any Indigenous person who lives by their wits and through the souls and stories of our ancestors, the only thing that has kept us alive until now. We should all be the same legally, yes. All given the same opportunities, yes. All guaranteed equal and just treatment in every avenue, every aspect of life, but making us one angered and unwieldy lump of homogeneity does nothing but make life easier for you. Keeps away the discomfort. Allows you to walk through life ignoring the reality of things. You are in service to a broken and lying ideal, not the education of your children. And it should not be my job to do your job. If you don't see color, you don't see me. If you don't see differences, you are dismissing the lives and realities of 3/4 of the planet. If you cannot open your heart and throat at the same time to acknowledge that I am not the same as you and your family, ancestors, lifestyle, dream of the perfect place, you are not just in denial. You are spitting in the face of every child jailed, every woman raped, every man swinging from the closest tree branch in the name of a promise of equality. You are a liar, and a dangerous one at that, because you teach those lies to your children and walk away thinking you have done a good thing, when all you have done is teach them that their comfort level is more important than the truth. Fire marked the sky near Hannah's house last year. Protesters' voices rang over and through night winds. I am truly glad that she and her family are safe, that her parents kept her and her brother inside. The streets were no place for anyone's children that night. But I wish they had taken the time to stand in their yard, see the flames, hear the voices, then explain that the smoke in the air would linger because Black people were being murdered for no reason. Explain that the world is not fair or equal. Explain that everyone should be treated the same, but is not the same. That everyone should see color, respect differences. I wish they had done a better job so that I wouldn't be doing that job again now. So I've got one last poem for y'all. This poem has ended just about every show that I have done for the last, good grief, almost 25 years. Yeah. Group, open your mics. We're about to hold church. I need to hear y'all. So I expect some noise to be made during this performance. This is the last poem. Thanks again, y'all. I've had a blast. The usual question is why? What made you be a poet? I've heard about how death turned some people, jail time, bad fortune. I can't claim any of that. I'm a poet because even at 5, you know when the Lord is talking to you. I'm a poet because God laid his hand on me and said, here am I, now speak. So if you hear something in this poem you know and believe, say amen. If you hear something you don't know but want to believe, sing wow. And if you don't know, then tip your waiter and prove you tried to keep Trump the hell out of office so you have done something useful with your sorry self. I am a poet because love laid its light on my parents' marriage. They held each other's hearts like jewels, polished with 5 girls, money problems, fights, and good times, so that when my mother said no to the chemo, no to the surgery, no to the cancer, she died smiling in my father's arms. I am a poet because every 7 seconds a woman is raped, because every 2 minutes a child is molested, because every half hour somebody dies alone. And every hour on the hour, government commits genocide while big business pats itself on the back. Because I applaud innovation, but tradition is the fire at which my soul warms itself. I am a poet because my nephew smiles hang the stars. I have friends and sisters whose personal job it is in life to mess with me all the time. because my baby misses
Man.
me so bad when I'm away and loves me back home so sweet. I am a poet because using the language properly is like good sex. If you can't stroke it, kiss it, taste it, and then lay it down till it screams with every intended passion, keep your damn mouth shut.
Amen.
Well,
Franklin, Langston Hughes, Mahalia Maya, and Dylan Thomas, Mary Evans, Sonia Sanchez, Gato Barbieri, Nora Jones, Duke Ellington, Nikki Giovanni, and Shaka Khan. Because of Alexander Dumas Père Aces, Raymond Chandler, Tina Marie, and Johann Sebastian Bach. I am a poet because when Smokey sang, "Let me be the clock for the time of your life," every woman in the world said, "Tick tock, baby." I'm a poet because when I was
Whoa.
my parents did not medicate, therapy, or offer alternative behaviors. They smacked my hand, whipped my butt, and made me hold my head up to say, "I'm sorry." I am a poet because I am a Black woman in a white world whose prayers to the ancestors bring down fire from the sky that I kiss into the diamonds I want to hang in your ears. Because the words retard,
Well.
fag, slut, nigga bitch are still accepted and recognized parts of conversation. I am a poet because Sacagawea got jacked up on the gold dollar, Cleopatra was a sister, and because rejecting European standards of beauty, I roll out every morning so damn fine that I am illegal in all 50 states and most of the US territory. I am poet because I know God, because I know he laid his hand on me and said, "Here am I. Now speak."
yeah.
Hell yeah. Whoa.
Go get Stacy's books. Highly recommend it.
Oh,
Just saying. It's right here.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I definitely need a chance to see the stage show. The live show is gonna be like life changing. It's through Zoom.
I'm
I'm
now
vibing
that we
heavy
can
here.
get out and about a little bit more, it's coming to an auditorium, gymnasium, school cafeteria, wherever your living room. I do house concerts wherever. But it's coming.
Awesome, awesome. I guarantee the Cantab Lounge would love to have you for a Wednesday night.
Okay.
Central Square here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I'm in Malden, but Cambridge.
I haven't been back to Massachusetts for 1.5 years. I would love to come back.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to have you.
Let's set it up.
Yeah, we'll talk. So this portion that was a fantastic set. It was couldn't have asked for more. I'm going to ask you if you have it, if you would put in the chat like your PayPal or a Venmo or something like that if you have that.
Mhm.
And I'll ask our audience to throw a few dollars your way because here in the virtual world you get in for free. But if it was a real place like we were just talking about, a live venue, you would have paid a few dollars to get in, and I'd be able to give that to the feature, and all would be right with the world with artists getting paid for their creations. So, yeah, if we could make that happen, that would be pretty great.
And there is no amount too small. I had an audience once. I used to end my shows by saying, or when there was an applause point, I would say, "Oh, no applause, just throw your spare change." And I was at a little pocket handkerchief of a high school in Colorado, and I said that, and I went into my next song, and I finished the song, and I was standing against a brass railing, and all of a sudden I hear ding 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 ding. The entire senior class threw all their spare pocket change
Oh, awesome.
at me. It was great. I made enough for a Coke and a candy bar. So it was fantastic.
That is great. Poet's Wind. That's a great name. I like that email.
Thank you.
Hotmail. You're kicking it old school with that one. I bet you've had that for a while.
That's, since I literally have email because I lost a bet. Okay. So
Yeah, I was not an earlier adopter of email or the internet either. I was
I
like
most
holding
certainly
off.
was not. Well, my
No.
tour manager at the time was always running around without a cell phone. And
Yeah.
so I kept telling her, look, you need to quit doing that. And she said, when you get an email, I will get a cell phone. And I said, well, yes, of course, thinking that will never happen. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
So she comes to pick me up for a gig, and all of a sudden I hear, dee, 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 and I look at her and say, what is that? What is that noise? And she pulls out the cell phone, sticks it in my face and says, guess what you're getting? So I literally do have email because I lost the bet.
That's a great story. Yeah, I held off on a cell phone and email until I had to get it when I worked at the Boston Phoenix. Um, I had to get it. The newspaper or the radio
Yeah.
station. And they gave me a cell phone, and I had to get an email address. So that I just was forced into it. But that was like
It
early
hurt me a little
2000.
bit personally.
Yeah, no, I even was like, would just like pretend that I had got one and be like, just keep giving them to be like, oh, it didn't work, it didn't work. I held off as long as I could.
Plausible deniability.
Right, yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Yeah, it's new to me. I could easily make a mistake.
Stuff happens.
All right, I'm